So I hope you're all feeling well today. As far as myself, I'm feeling a little under the weather. So if you hear my voice and it sounds a little congested and stuck up, that is why. It's Connecticut and we are changing into the winter season, so it's getting a little colder and a lot of us are starting to get sick. So unfortunately, you just gotta bear with me as I explain today's topic. And today is a very important topic and it's on developing self-esteem. So it's a little different than the videos that I post, and most of it is on financials and lifestyle. But this is important because self-esteem allows us to do what we need to do in order to achieve our goals. And if you lack self-esteem, this can prevent you from achieving your financial goals. An example of this would be like, let's say that you want to keep up with the Joneses. So in order for you to do that, you spend a little bit more money on your house, you spend a little bit more money on your car, and then that gets you in trouble because you want to impress people who really may not even care about you, right? So at the end of the day, low self-esteem and needing to keep up with the Joneses can affect you financially, even though we don't think about it like that. And another example is for people who want to start businesses, but maybe they're afraid. They question whether people would pay them for their services and what type of service or skills they would be able to offer to people that they would be willing to pay them for. And that is another thing that stops people from achieving their goals. It prevents them from 10xing their income, which is one of the principles of velocity banking that I teach. And all these things, low self-esteem, prevents us from achieving the goals at the end of the day. So I want to make a video on this, and I want to help people develop self-esteem the only way I know how to. There are a lot of books on this, and they're very great books that you can read. One of them is The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem by Nathaniel Branden, that you guys can read. But this is a simple approach, and if you guys know me, I like simple, I like easy, I don't like things that are overcomplicated. So this is a 3-step process, the 3 C's of self-esteem, and I want to jump right into it. And I have my notes because I don't want to leave any important things out. I want to make sure I cover everything so you guys get it and understand how to build and develop self-esteem. And it's a lifelong journey. This process never ends, but this is the best way that I found that has worked for me. So the first C of developing self-esteem is competence. So I wrote it out so I don't misspell it because my spelling is not the best. So competence. So what is competence? Competence, as I looked up the definition, is the ability to do something successfully or efficiently. So the bottom line is you need to be good at things, right? And you don't have to be good at a lot of things. You just need to be good at 1 to 3 things in your life, right? Just imagine that you were the best soccer player in the world. You're Lionel Messi. Wouldn't that spill into the other areas of your life if you were trying to build relationships or you're trying to build a business and somebody asks you, hey, what do? You'd be like, I'm just the best soccer player in the world, right? So there's a little bit of confidence, self-confidence that comes along with competence, right? So competence breeds confidence, and self-confidence increases your self-esteem and the view of yourself. So the next C in self-esteem development is connection. So this one is really important, but this is twofold, right? So you need to be able to build a connection with yourself, and then you need to be able to build connection with other people, right? So why is this important? So you need to build a connection with yourself because you need to believe that you have the ability to become competent in all these areas. And it's sort of that chicken or the egg argument. Can you think your way into becoming competent, or do you need to become competent to build your self-belief? And the way that I view it is just do them simultaneously. Eventually, you'll start to have belief in yourself that expresses itself into behaviors of competence, right? So just do both. To build a connection with yourself, you really have to dive into your psyche. You have to take psychology tests and things of that nature to understand why you think the way you do. You have to understand what creates positive emotions in you, what creates negative emotions in you, and you can understand what triggers you and what motivates you. And that allows you to build that connection with yourself, and you can reward yourself properly and you can punish yourself properly, right? Once you understand yourself better. And then you need to build connections with other people, because we are social creatures at the end of the day. And if we lack connection, we are missing an essential part of what it is to be a human and enjoying the human experience. And it would be a plus if the people that you are hanging out with are also have high self-esteem, right? So we want to hang out with other people who have high self-esteem, because again, through proximity and through osmosis, you can begin to adopt behaviors of high self-esteem even if you don't have any high self-esteem initially. So people can actually pull you up to their level if you hang out with other high self-esteem people. So that's why it's important to build these two connections up. And the last one, and I think it's the most important C of them all, is what I like to call choice theory. Right, and this is something that I came up with, and it's literally the only way I know on how to measure self-esteem, because self-esteem is sort of this like vague thing, you can't really see it. But in order for us to understand if these things are working, we need a measuring stick. And choice theory is the only way I know how to measure this. So it's simply put, when you have a plan to do something that's linked to a goal, right? A plan that's linked to a goal, you have a choice, right? So let's say that you wanted to start a business, and starting a business can be very scary, right? So you have a choice. You can either purchase mentorships or watch a YouTube video on how to start a business, right? Or let's say that the football game is on, right? And they're on at the same time. You have a choice to do either or. And we have these choices that go on throughout the entire day, right? But if you planned to do something that's linked to a goal, if you do it, it puts a positive in your self-esteem bucket. But if you do not do it, it actually decreases your self-esteem, right? So let's say that you wanted to build a relationship and you saw somebody on LinkedIn that you could message to meet up for a coffee, but you decided that you're afraid. What if they don't respond back to me, and you're too afraid to do it? That actually decreases your self-esteem because you plan to do it and it's linked to a goal, right? That means you don't have enough competence or belief in yourself that it's going to work out. And that is the best way that I found that you can measure self-esteem. So if you plan to do something and you don't do it, that means your self-esteem is low, right? If you plan to do something and it's scary, but you have enough courage to do it, that means your self-esteem is slowly, gradually building up. And then the more that you fill this bucket up of positive actions where you're doing exactly what you plan to do throughout the day, regardless of how you feel, your emotions, and all that, then you know your self-esteem is pretty high, right? So these things develop self-esteem. This measures self-esteem, which is very important because I'm a very metric-based person. I want to know if I'm actually making progress, and this is the only way I know on how to measure self-esteem. So when you plan to do something, if you don't do it, your self-esteem is low, right? There's no other way. You can't hide from that fact. So just do what you're supposed to do regardless of how you feel. If you're afraid, still do it. There still will be something that you can learn from it, even if you don't get the outcome you want. So I think this video will be very helpful for people and in deciding whether you want to start something that's very scary in your life, whether it be a business like I did. I have literally no skills. I'm a nobody from Connecticut, and I decided that I wanted to start this business anyway. What's the worst that could happen? I'm already financially set. I have a place, I have a car, I'm independent, and I literally just am doing this because I have a specific goal in mind that I want to attain, and I am developing my self-esteem. So I'm going to do it regardless of whether I'm scared, whether I think it doesn't work, because I have enough belief in myself and faith that this will work out. And I am getting coaching and mentoring from other people who have high self-esteem. And at the end of the day, as long as I'm doing what I want to do, the results really don't matter. So I hope this is helpful. I'll make more videos on how to build an elite performance mindset in the future. And I hope this helps you guys out and also help you in your velocity banking journey so you don't extend yourself to keep up with the Joneses. That's all I got for you guys today, and I'll talk to you soon.